In today's video, we're going to be talking about why credit cards aren't as evil as society makes them out to be, and why you should really be getting one. Hi guys, welcome back to Matt Talks Money. My name's Matt and I'm a 21-year-old uni student who loves talking about money, personal finance and life. Today we're going to be talking about credit cards and why they aren't as bad as you might think they are or as society makes them out to be. First of all, I think it's good if we clarify what actually a credit card is. So, a credit card is a form of short-term loan between you and the card company. When you purchase an item using your credit card, the card company is actually paying for it, and then you have to pay the card company back at a later date. The amount you can spend on this credit card depends on your credit limit. The credit limit varies between person to person. When actually in the shops, the difference between a credit card and a debit card is not much different. It's still a plastic card or Apple Pay these days, but the only difference is when you actually pay for it. On a debit card, you are the one paying for it, and on a credit card, at that specific moment, the card company is paying for it, but you have to pay them back at a later date. I won't go into it in this video, but there are very many different types of credit cards you can get. There are ones for rewards, one for building your credit. But I'll talk about the one I personally have later on in the video. If you guys are anything like me, you would have grown up thinking that credit cards are bad, they're the source of all evil, and people just wouldn't like to talk about them really. But once you delve actually a bit into more depth about what they actually are, you'll soon realise that they're actually very good, and when used in the right way, they can actually give you great rewards. Just like to say, this isn't a video saying everyone should go get a credit card. Because credit cards aren't for everyone. So let's start with a little scenario. Let's say you go and do your weekly shop in Tesco, Sainsbury's or wherever you shop, and that comes to about, let's call it £50. If you were to put that shop on your debit card, nothing would happen except £50 would be taken out of your current account. However, now let's assume you put this £50 on a credit card. Whilst in the shop, nothing would happen differently except the money wouldn't come out of your current account straight away. You'd have to pay it off at the end of the month or sooner if you so wish. However, the main difference is that now if you have a reward credit card or a credit building credit card, you will get some kind of benefit from using that card. An example is the BA Amex card that I currently have, where I get one Avios for every £1 I spend. While this doesn't seem a lot, I'm sure it'll add up over the next few years. So me going to put a £50 spend on this Amex gets me 50 Avios, whereas for you, if you put it on a debit card, you don't get any reward for it at all. The reason I got the Amex card is, first of all, there is no annual fee, and second of all, you get Avios for things you spend on it. These Avios can be redeemed on various things, not just flights, but you can actually use them for hotels, car transfers, things at the airport, so they are really quite a versatile reward. If you're interested in getting one, please drop me a DM on Instagram and I'll send you a referral link where we both get a benefit if you sign up through it. Of course, there are many other cards out there, so please do your own research before applying for one. Here are 5 rules I personally live by when using a credit card. Number 1, I never use more than 30% of my credit limit. This is what's known as credit utilization. Let's assume I had a credit limit of £100 and I used 99% of it, so I spent £99 on it every month. The card provider would think that's more risky than if I put £5 on it, because I'm more likely to pay off the £5 than the whole £99. This is why I personally try and keep it below 30% every month. The second rule, which is arguably the most important, is to pay off the entire balance of your credit card every month. Not only does this signal to the card provider that you are responsible with your money, but it also prevents you from incurring any interest charges, which are very high on credit cards. For example, I think on my Amex, it's about 22%. So if you don't pay that back in full every month, you're paying an extra 22% on top of what you already owe them. Rule number 3 is to never take cash out of a credit card. This is because most credit providers will charge you a fee, sometimes up to £5, for taking cash out at an ATM. So always use your current account to do this. Number 4, and this is especially useful if you're on a lower credit limit or just starting off your credit card journey. Rule number 4 is to put regular purchases on your credit card every month. For example, when I first got my credit card, I would only put petrol and food on it every month, as that was typically very similar week in, week out. This would prevent me from spending a lot on my credit card one month and then less the next month, and it just shows to the bank that I'm consistent with how much I spend on my credit card and that I will always pay it back. My 5th rule of credit cards is to get a credit card that actually gives you some kind of reward. Like I was saying earlier with the difference between a debit card and a credit card, when I first started I got a student credit card with a limit I think of £500. At the time I thought this was great, but it didn't give me any rewards whatsoever, so essentially it was the same as using my current account, except maybe it helped my credit score. This is why I've gone on to get a BA Amex card, because obviously, like I said, I get Avios. So the 5th rule is to get some kind of reward from my credit cards. That's what I do personally anyway. So apart from the 2 main reasons to get a credit card being improving your credit score and giving you rewards, there is another reason why a credit card could be better than a debit card. This is because when you pay on a credit card, you're actually covered by the card provider if anything goes wrong to the good or service you purchase. For example, if the company goes bust and you use a credit card, you're more likely to get your money back than if you used your debit card. This all sounds great in theory, but credit cards aren't for everyone. I'm not sat here advising you to go get a credit card. This is not financial advice, so please do your own research before you make any financial decisions. But credit cards typically aren't for people who A, don't have the money to pay it off, because all that's going to happen is you're going to incur more and more interest. B, they're not for people who will use all of their limit and spend it on silly things they wouldn't already have spent on. And C, for people who are already in lots and lots of bad debt, because this is only going to add to your debt unless you pay it all off. Having said that, if you have the self-control to only put on your credit card what you were going to spend on your debit card, and if the credit card gives you some rewards, then you're benefiting from the same transaction. As I mentioned earlier, if you want to know anything more, just hit me up on Instagram and I'll reply to you as soon as I can. So that was just a quick overview of why I personally think credit cards aren't as evil as society makes them out to be, and why I think you should possibly look into getting one, as they give great rewards and also help to improve your credit score. Thank you guys so much for watching. As ever, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.